Evening all. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to my fireside. I am smoking. Phew. Of course it is. Excuse me. Back to the rock. And in it, I've once again got some McBaron's Old Dark Fired, which once again I've allowed to dry out. So I've got no filter in this pipe, so this is a new departure as well. I'm feeling a bit sore around the tongue, but I'm going to persevere. It's a real sipping tobacco, I find. Which isn't necessarily good for me, because I've been smoking a pipe for 2.5 years now and I still puff like a steam train. I have to concentrate on sipping. Don't know why, just part of my makeup. Let's bring up the beer. Drinking some Old Crafty Hen. A real winter beer by the fireside. Cheers. Happy Saturday. Long may you do whatever you do when you're doing it. Hello, boy. How are we all doing? Now, what am I listening to? You know, I was listening to Louis Armstrong the other week. Excuse me. And it set me off on a bit of an early jazz kick. And this is another legend of 1920s, 30s and into the 40s and before bebop kicked in and this kind of thing went out of fashion. But another legend. This is Sidney Bechet. This is a French because of course he moved to France in the late 40s and ended his life there because he couldn't get work in the States and he was much appreciated in France. And this is a French collection. I've got the other volume as well. So this is a 2-disc album. So 4 discs in total, taking you from the early 30s up into the 40s and beyond. Sidney Bechet. An incredible clarinet player, but even more renowned for playing the soprano sax, a notoriously difficult instrument to master. And this music was all recorded, as I said, this is the first one, so this is like early 30s and then it goes on into the 40s. Incredible stuff, real toe tapping music. Now, this has inspired me because a couple of people have asked in the past when I've mentioned it. To show you something. It's been much talked about, but very few people have ever seen it. So it's a bit of a revelation. What are you talking about, I hear you ask? I'm talking about my licorice stick. going to show you my licorice stick. Brace yourselves. It's the first time I've had it out in many years. I think, we've gone as far as we can go with those kind of jokes. I'm going to put this down. Look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? That's my B-flat clarinet, which I have not played for many, many years. And I have deliberately not put a reed on it so I'm not tempted to have a blow on camera. But isn't that fantastic? I've forgotten how heavy the thing is and how complex an instrument it is. But it's beautiful. This is a British make, Boozy and Hawkes. And this particular one, I've got the serial number on it. So although it hasn't got the gold stamp, which you would normally get on the bell, I can date it from the serial number. It dates to about 1960. And a fantastic instrument, which will go back in its case now. I really don't think I have the wind to be able to play the thing. But who knows? Maybe I'll give it a try. Having got down the whole case and everything and found all the music books in there as well, I might give it a go. Cheers once again. I haven't been up to a great deal. Went over to my ex-wife's earlier today. She wanted a mirror put up in her downstairs bathroom. Her new partner, she's getting married by the way, have I mentioned that before? Her and her new partner are getting married. Good luck to them. Good luck to them, boy. Good luck. But he doesn't do the old... he's a bit different from me. As well as being a lot younger than I am, he's a vegetarian, non-driver, and he doesn't do DIY stuff. I never enjoyed doing it yourself myself, but I had to do it. No one ever taught me to do it. It's like most men, you teach yourself. But he doesn't do that sort of thing. So I went over earlier and put this mirror up. The boy had a run around with the girls, didn't you, boy? And yeah. The irony is, of course, I've got so many jobs that I need to do around this house that I don't do. But as soon as she asked, I packed up and went over there. Don't get me wrong, I'm no saint, I'm not, no good Samaritan. It's driving music, boy. But it was a bit of a change of scenery. Other than that, I've not been up to a great deal. It turned very cold here in the UK. But the funny thing is, it's not really any colder than it would normally be. It's just that we've had an incredibly hot summer and a very, very mild autumn and the first half of the winter, which has lulled us into a false sense of security. And so now, in mid-January, the real temperatures that we should be suffering have hit home. And it feels very, very cold. I very glad of the fire. Although most of that is psychological, it doesn't chuck out that much heat. Other than that, I've been doing the usual. Walking the boy. Watching the box. The funny thing is that on the channel, one channel that we get, one cable channel we get here in the UK, ITV2. Over the past week, they've shown all the Harry Potter films. My girls stayed the first couple of nights of this week, and so we tapped into it first of all with The Prisoner of Azkaban, and then the Goblet of Fire, then the Order of the Phoenix. I'm guessing this is the order, but yeah. Then the Half-Blood Prince, and then both parts of the Deathly Hallows. I read those books to my girls when they were young. Did all the voices, the whole thing. I'm a great believer in encouraging your children to read. And the way I tried to get them into it was I would sit at bedtime with them and I'd read books to them. It was mostly with my eldest because, you know, when the split up came one to another. But I did all the Harry Potter books, the Lemony Snicket books. And read a fair few to my youngest as well. I remember reading my youngest Alice in Wonderland, the original book. You call it a children's book, but it's very, very strange. But, you know. But yeah, I was a great believer in reading to my kids. My ex never did it, but I was a firm believer in it because I read books myself. And so I would go up with them every night at bedtime and read to them. And of course read to one and then go in one room and read to the other. Maple Leaf Rag. But of course kids don't really read books now, although funnily enough, when they were over here living this week, it turns out they'd both been given vouchers for an online bookstore, and they both bought themselves some books, which I was really pleased about. And my youngest in particular, she's 18 now, she's nearly 19. Still making her mind up what she wants to do in life, but she's developing a real interest in, I don't know what the correct term is, criminology, real crime, which might sound weird, but not necessarily. I think it's something fascinating to get into. And it turns out that using this voucher, she bought herself a copy of Truman Capote, In Cold Blood. Absolutely blinding book. Read it many, many years ago. Still got it, which she could have had, but she didn't know at the time. The first of its kind, where it was a book written about a true crime. I can't remember the names now. But these two guys murdered this family in, I don't know if it was Kansas or somewhere, I don't know. And the book takes all these facts but writes it like a novel. What became known as faction. But it was the first of its kind. Absolutely incredible book. So who knows? She's getting into that, and maybe they'll get into reading books. I've got hundreds and hundreds of books here. I've got like a library. But it's nice to know, because you should never lose that connection with reading. You know, there's so much we can pick up. There's so much I have. Part of my personal development from reading books, for the past 50 years. Books of all kinds. That said, I've decided for the first time in many years now, I used to read it every year, once a year, every year, for year after year, but I haven't read it for about 10 years at least now. But I've decided now's the time. To dig out once again The Lord of the Rings, my trusty 1-volume paperback. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, Pop? You going to show the ladies and gentlemen your beautiful face? I've never been restricted by any one genre. I've read all kinds of books. So, you know, I love The Lord of the Rings. Probably read it more than any other book I've ever read. It might make you think that I'm a fantasy nut. No, not really. I read the Narnia books as well and a couple of other fantasy books. I read all the George R.R. Martin Song of Ice and Fire books, but other than that, nothing. Doesn't really do it for me. I've read so many different things. Which I think is the best way to be. You know, a broad canvas. So what are we going to do the rest of the night, boy? Eh? What should we do? Should we give you some treats? Yeah, look at the way those ears perk up. You noggin. I dare say there'll be treats on the menu. Other than that, it's back to the box for me. I watched last weekend 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Great film. And I mentioned last weekend I've also got The Shape of Water that my girls bought me for my Christmas present. I might watch that tonight, might save it for another night. I'm scrubbing around for things to talk about now. I'm still not watching videos. I'm still waiting for this little speaker to turn up that I can plug into my laptop. Hasn't arrived yet. Must be coming from it must be from Mars, I think, the time it's taking. Should you ever rummage in the fire? Why not? Come at the end of the fence posts. Anyone else out there in YTPC land play an instrument? I know that David Beerbeard is into music and plays an instrument. Anyone else ever done it, ever tried it and given up, or is just thinking about setting off on that path? Be interesting to hear. I've never had the commitment, the patience to see it through to the end. So I've usually got up into sort of the intermediate stage, and then it's gone by the wayside. Although getting this clarinet out tonight and just lifting the thing and feeling it, it's... Who knows? Watch this space. In the meantime, I'm going to knock this one on the head. I haven't managed to sort out getting the videos onto my laptop and editing them. I probably talked about this before, but because it runs Windows 7, it won't recognise QuickTime movies, and none of the video editing software will recognise them. So I'm in the process of sorting that out. In the meantime, this will be uploaded in its raw state direct from my phone. So for tonight, it only remains for me and the Zig to say night night. Yes, boy. Yes. Cheers. Not for you, you're too young. I'm going to do another one tomorrow. And if I don't, it's because I haven't. But my intention is to do one tomorrow. It's a bit bluesy, isn't it? Night night all. I intend to speak to you again tomorrow. In the meantime, take care everyone, and thanks for joining me.